It's Sunday, 30th of March. What you're looking at is the Garmin InReach track from the recent trip. In the upper right is where we started, Southport, North Carolina, and in the bottom left half of the screen is the St. Mary's Inlet and Fernandina Beach, where we are right now. We started out early and got a good head start out of Southport, and got into the ocean and discovered that the cold front that was coming through that was going to help power us south never really showed up. And so we continued to motor on, and later in the day we were faced with an ever-increasing wind right in our face.
It's another day in the neighborhood. Okay, that is holding us.
Yeah, so
This we can toss up right now.
this guy off.
Let me just put this up here on the deck. Up over the top is good. Yeah, there you go. Just drop it on the deck.
Come on, baby, get up there. Too
Good.
short for
Thanks. And we'll untie that, and you just can set it up on the deck. Yeah, I'll need a little bit of a push to get off. Ready.
that. It's a heavy boat.
Yeah,
Hey,
it's.
grounds.
Thank you. Thanks for the help.
Yes, sir.
Underway, 0652.
Good morning. We've gotten ourselves onto the Cape Fear River, and we're headed for the inlet. clear. Approaching our IP, we're going to set our baseline course. It's basically a run line course all the way to St. Mary's Inlet. We've got about 10 knots of wind, 11 knots maybe. And I put the jib out, but there's not enough wind to maintain plus 5 knots. So it did allow me to reduce the RPMs on the engine to conserve fuel, so that's good. But this wind's supposed to die in a few hours anyway, so it's hardly worth trying to get the main out and go through that production. So we'll just play it by ear here. And if the wind does die as it's supposed to, I'll probably furl in the Genoa. Continues to decrease, and the Genoa was flapping, so I furled it in. I don't want to risk damage. It's a really beautiful day out here. About 20 miles east of the entrance to Winya Bay. We've crossed Long Bay, and we're getting ready to turn the corner by Cape Romaine. So we've been fighting this headwind all afternoon, and it's strengthening. It's now blowing about 16, 17 right on our nose. Sunset is coming. As the night moved in, we were approaching the harbor entrance to Charleston, and there are quite a few, at least a dozen or more, large ships just hanging around out there, waiting to come into the harbor. And we needed to do some maneuvering to get ourselves through there. So most of the action takes place at night, the first night and the second night. And since I don't do any videoing at night because you can't see anything, there isn't much in the way of video, so I'll just tell the story. So maneuvering around large container ships in the middle of the night is fun. It's all happening in slow motion, so you identify a potential issue, and it may take 5 hours or more for it to resolve itself. As you change course, you may speak, as I did, to the bridge of one of these big container ships to clarify my course and speed, to make sure he clearly understood what I was trying to do. And keeps you up all night, basically. There's really no rest during the night while this is going on. And by morning, we were well enough past Charleston so that all that had resolved itself, and we were moving to a position east of Hilton Head and Savannah as the day went on. The other significant thing that happened at night was that the wind, the headwind that we had, died, as it was supposed to, just a lot later than scheduled. And the second of that reinforcing front came in. That showed up around 3 a.m. and really started to blow immediately at 15, 16 knots, and promptly went up to 18 to 20 and stayed there for probably 12 hours. Good morning. It's Thursday. We had an active night. Lots of wind changes, and maneuvering through the parking lot of large shipping that's outside of Charleston Harbor. Solid 2-meter waves. I wanted to put up the Genoa, but the wind is directly behind us, and so if I were to do that, I'd have the Genoa wanting to jibe from one side to the other, so I'd have to go off on a jibe and sort of jibe tack down the path, and I don't want to do that. And the boat's riding pretty well. So we're going in tonight and drop the hook. We got here very early with all that following sea and wind. It drove us at a very high speed. And we did. We made very good time. Now, take a look at the bottom of the path where it flares out and then turns in towards the inlet. What's happening there is that there's a port city, Brunswick, in Georgia, down near the border, a little bit south of where that Route 95 symbol is on the map. And there is, well, it's not a massive port. It's not insignificant. It's not Savannah. It's certainly not Charleston. But there were half a dozen large ships out there. And rather than go into their space and cross their TSS and all that, I decided, since we were ahead of schedule, to flare out and give them a pretty wide berth. That would decrease my approach angle to being pretty flat here, east and west, and get me on a direct heading into the far sea buoy that marks the entrance to St. Mary Inlet. So that's what's going on here on the last night, is the avoidance of the TSS for Brunswick, and also flattening the trajectory into the inlet. Hey, anchored down 0600 on Friday. We made a good night entry, and we found our anchor spot that we had scoped out earlier doing map recon. So after I get a little rest, I'll rig the boat for docking and we'll go up to our marina. We made it to Florida. Welcome to Fernandina Beach. I'm at the marina, and behind me is a river cruise boat. So that's a wrap. Next episode, we'll look at the last leg to where our final destination is going to be, which I think is going to be Daytona Beach. I'm thinking that's where we'll go and park this boat for a while, get it cleaned up and ready for further adventures.